सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Can someone recollect what is it that we have seen last? Anybody? We form the link and we move ahead. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes, Gayatri ji.
Yesterday we learned from the shlok number 45 to 56. And in the shlokas, Krishna reminds Arjun to be selfless and self-controlled, Jitendriya. And in that shlok, the focus shifts from the ritualistic result-oriented actions to the selfless and spiritual actions. And in the next shloka, with an example of water body, Krishna
One
explains
small
us.
question, Gayatri ji.
Ji?
Ritualistic material action in the sense, what is it talking about? What did we cover?
Karma kand to karma yoga. Only ritualistic.
But means what is karma kanda actually then, Gayatri ji, according to the definition then?
Which are shown in the Vedas, the ritualistic methods.
No. Actually, that because if you see, there is a symbolism in the Vedic rituals also. When we do it with the intention of rewards, that is what is Krishna is saying. He is not condemning the entire.
Okay. At that particular time, at that particular moment, Krishna advises Arjun. Okay.
When we are doing with
we should not focus on the results.
Yeah. That is what, because sometimes there is a misinterpretation that Krishna has told all the rituals are hopeless. But
not like that.
Gita, just for clarification for everybody, I just made that. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Please continue, ji. Yes, ji.
Okay.
Yes, ji.
Then in the next shloka, Krishna gives an example of the water body. Like if we have a large lake as a water source, then one need not be worrying about the well. So once the ultimate goal is attained, then we will not worry for the small things.
Yeah, or we can easily get the highest experience inside of an individual who has realized, who has obtained realization. Yes.
And the next shloka, karmanyavadhikaraste, that is like a karma yoga described in a formula. Like karmanyavadhikaraste, matlab focus on your duty and don't concern with the results. Just do. And also that do not become inactive. Like avoid action. Karma to karna hai, but not focusing on the result.
Okay. Ji.
And then yoga kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya, like perform your duties without being obsessed with the results, whether they are favorable or unfavorable. Matlab siddhi or the true yoga is maintaining a balanced mind in any damn situation. That is true yoga. And
yoga
those
karmasu kaushalam also. Samatvam yoga uchyate and yoga karmasu
kaushalam. That is skill in action. Yoga karmashu kaushalam. Okay. And those who are established in Buddhi Yoga, they abandon their attachment to the fruits.
One moment, we will just, during our study, because many times when we create distinctions between this is Buddhi Yoga, this is Karma Yoga, this is Jnana Yoga, because a lot of overlapping keeps taking place. So we can probably avoid using that, but it is fine.
Okay.
It is a personal choice, of course. Yes, ji.
Okay. So doing action, but they are not attached to the fruits of that actions. So by doing this, one can free from the cycle of birth and death, and can reach the state of mind beyond suffering.
Yeah.
And when
Yes,
your
yes.
intellect has thoroughly crossed this web of delusion and desires, at that time you will attain detachment from all the things that are those things that are heard or yet to be heard. Like you don't need to sorry, what we say,
Shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. Whatever
shrotavyasya
bad news
shrotasya
or
cha.
good news, whatever comes, you are going
Yeah,
to take it in a state of balance.
yeah. And in next shlokas, Krishna describes the about sthita pragna. And when Arjun asks, he shows the characteristics of the sthita pragna.
Yes, yes,
That dukheshu
absolutely.
udvigna manaha,
Yes, it. Sukheshu vigataspraha vita raga bhaya kroha krodha
krodha, sthita muni
stitade muni
dhiraruchi.
rochate. Means who is this person? So this Muni, anybody knows the meaning of Muni?
Sthita muni.
Anybody knows the meaning of a Muni? Yes, Mitali ji is adding something. Yes, please. Yes, ma'am.
Sadhu,
Okay, Muni is like sadhu.
saint,
Okay, okay. The Rishi,
Please
we have heard. Yes, yes.
मौन रखते हैं वो मुनि.
That
That
could be
person
Mauni Muni
keeps
then.
the
That
Moni
could
Muni.
be,
Okay,
yeah.
Muni is not.
Yes, yes. But now we sort some. Yes, Shashi ji wants to say something. Okay, ji.
I just wanted to say, Muni,
Hmm.
it's a learned
Okay.
sage.
Learned sage. Okay. So we have so many such names, isn't it? For we have Sadhu, we have Muni, we have Rishi or Rishika that way. We have Manishi. So these are all different words which will come. How do we look at all of them? Well, each of them, Krishna is going to give us some introduction. Who is this? So these are all like states. Like some people are master in somebody's arts field. No? They do a BA, then they do an MA. Somebody else will do a BSc and person does an MSc. Like that, if we will, each of these words have a interesting symbolism. Here, Krishna is telling who such a person who is fit, who is Sthita Prajna. He is fit to be called a Muni. Such a person can be called a Muni. That person who has attained this state of Samadhi. Because the moment Krishna tells Arjuna about this Samadhi, Arjuna is very curious. Because he has only understood, maybe, this can be an assumption, that Samadhi Sthiti means somebody who will not do anything. That person is going to be like a, what we call rock silence and not really in the middle of any action. But Krishna, in the middle of the battlefield, is asking Arjuna to cultivate or indicating that Samadhi state is the best state which has to be reached. Immediately, Krishna is faced by these questions of Arjuna, that how does a person in Samadhi sit? How does he walk? How does he talk? That time when he starts giving, he says, first step for the Samadhi is giving up all the desires which mind keeps creating. One desire to second, second to third, third to fourth. We keep on going. Only this. Many times dietitians give a strict diet, and the person goes and says, "Give me one cheat day." We had a dietitian in one group, so I asked, "Do you give cheat days?" She said, "Yes, I do give cheat days." But what happens sometimes in that cheat days is that one cheat day is followed by second, second is followed by third. Overall, the entire diet plan is lost. So something like that, our desires also take us away if we are able to get free from these desires and dwell in what? Dwell in a state of higher consciousness. Such a person is said to be in that state of awakened samadhi. But Arjuna was not talking about just philosophical aspects. He said, I want lakshanas. I want practicalness if I am walking on the street or if I am going elsewhere. How do I find, how do I find somebody who has attained that state of consciousness? What are the indications? I think we all had chemistry lab in school, isn't it? We had indicators which would decide what is the how the while doing titrations. So we can easily see when the change of color is there, we can say, right, this phenolphthalein indicator has changed color. This is the end point. We can say this has been reached. something like that. How does one identify a person? Don't we get a doubt? Because and modern day it's very confusing also. People are wearing different masks. Somebody who appears very learned, and sometimes we get shocked. How did this learned person do like this? So what is it? Is it what is the centimeter? How big the beard is? With that, do we identify? Or the color of robe? How do I identify? What is the lakshana? What some way I can identify? Arjuna asks. For that, Krishna has given in this 56th shloka. Simple. When one suffers not in times of distress, meaning distressful time will come to even the sadhak. Suddenly, if I am doing yoga sadhana, somebody says that. Does that mean that person will get free from all the troubles of the world? No. Pain, yes, we will all experience pain. We will all experience difficulties, which are difficulties of our human nature. But how does a person face with the difficulty? Meaning, you see somebody being very unruly or attacked continuously, verbally also, and yet you are seeing that person is not getting disturbed. Yes, Gayatri ji is saying something? Yes, ma'am.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Yes, please. Okay, this is. I hope I get Sthita Pragnata of internet at least today. Just a moment. Um, is the audio clear now somehow? Is it better? I've
It
actually
is better, but
tried.
sometimes it's lagging like
It is. Please let me know. Then I think at this
video
moment.
also lags.
Okay, okay. Uh, we can limitation here. Unfortunately, here I have not yet received the. Good. Just one moment. So anyway, there is a internet problem. If we can we is it? Can we try continuing with this at this moment? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Fine. Thank you. Thank you. Pravina ji has said it's clear. Let us hope the internet will pray to Krishna only, that the internet is steady. So anyway, what we see here is somebody who does not suffer in the times of distress, meaning difficult situations come and you see that the person in that difficult situation remains balanced. He's not suffering, he's not just reacting. That is one lakshana. Another, not overexcited in very moments. And then someone free from fear and anger. It is clearly understood that you are next to a sadhu or you are next to a me, or next to this sage who is awakened. Means this is a very nice life. If conversely, if we want to attain that state, we should rid ourselves of fear, we should rid ourselves of anger. Can someone tell me what is the most like common source of anger in
Desire.
anybody's lives?
Desire.
Yes, desire is the source of anger. Why is it, Vijuji? How?
Because when you want to get something and when you don't get it, you are either depressed
Ah,
or you get angry also.
okay, okay. Okay, so that's a very interesting
Disagreements,
thing. Desire leads to anger. Huh? Yes, Ji?
disagreements,
Dis
disagreements.
disagreements. The other person does not conform to our expectations. So again, it comes back to that Mam Phalesh Vadachana. Even you are, can we force our most beloved person to obey our commands all the time or any time? No, no.
Oh,
Love does
everybody has
not
a choice of
mean
living.
manipulating. Yes, yes, yes. So how does one try? One will have to understand probably to not force, not manipulate. So anger issue, I think we have clearly identified that anger source is only expectation, or if whatever our, like as Vijay said, Maji said about desire. Desire leads to next desire. Desire leads to another desire. And when desire doesn't get fulfilled, it generates anger. We will see a ladder of the fall later on in the Gita, how one after the other emotions enter. But these two things we can identify. But now fear. Fear comes for so many reasons, isn't it? Anybody, can we just highlight some of the fears?
Many fears are there, like financial fear, like losing some beloved ones, or there are many fears, and number of
Yes,
Fear,
many
fears are there.
fears.
fear of unknown.
Now,
That is the
fear of
biggest fear.
unknown also. Now, yes, yes, yes. Fear of unknown, fear of failure. Anjali ji has written. Uh, Now, when you know one, it is like when you have a diagnosis, a clear diagnosis, then you can do what they call nidana or treatment. No? But here the diagnosis only is it is difficult. How does one? Maybe just let us look at some of the fears mentioned because otherwise, I don't know. People may have a fear of fear also. So there are so many fears. So instead, let us just look at some examples and see if there is a. Yes, somebody wants to add something. Yes, Maji. Yes,
I
ma'am.
think the biggest fear is of death that becomes part of the
Okay.
unknown.
Yes, I think wonderfully said. Shashi ji has said death, and I think connecting that with Sunita ji has mentioned uncertainty. Again, we do not unknown. I think Shashi ji has talked about the same thing. So I think what we don't know, sometimes we that is one aspect. But is there any rationality to that fear? Fear of the unknown. Means if you look at it in a different perspective, maybe not immediate, like I don't know what is going to happen to me. All right. Uh, by knowing also, it's not you're not fully. Means how is there any way of knowing what's going to happen to me tomorrow, today? When it happens,
No.
it is what is going to happen, isn't it? Whether I fear or I don't fear, what is an eventuality? What is an eventuality will take place. So that eventuality we need not means. But then how does one hold on to something? Well, you'll have to hold on to something higher to escape from that fear. As children, we used to run behind the pallu of the mother. Or when bad dreams come, the greatest protection for us would be the pillow, isn't it? Cover your head with a pillow. You have got some protection, which is some kind of divine protection. And here is at least I used to go under the bed sheet. Nothing would happen. As if the bed sheet is made of some kind of, it's a super powerful shield, which nothing can happen. But that would means that kind of confidence or something would come in because it's somewhere to hold on to. So I think when we read the Gita, we will understand whether Krishna is worth holding on to, or holding on to Krishna will drive away the fear. That is something we will see ahead as we go into the Gita. But we have to find out a way to overcome our fear, because if we are able to get free from anger, we are able to get free from fear. If we are able to even now, for example, financial failure, some financial difficulties, this is very difficult, isn't it? Can any philosophy reduce the debit account? Can anybody read some philosophy to immediately? Can a mantra immediately? You chant this 500,000 times, your debit balance will turn to credit balance. Is there any mantra like that? No. So how do I deal with it? Well, again, the same principle is there. As you have there are fear, there are n number of fears. Like just I can tell you two examples
With
of
the
people.
poet's mind.
Two people who were in this village only. One person is a farmer nearby. This is not the same farmer that I talked about. This was a farmer who had a field, but not very successful. Financially, is going through a difficult situation. But for him, there was no financial fear. But when COVID struck, his wife was not talking to him. That's why he got very upset. And he was like, now nothing is going to happen in my life. Good is going to happen because I have to do isolation. And he ended his life here, which is absolutely pointless. And in the same village, the one grandmother who has no children, who is all alone, no source of income, and yet she is smiling. She is smiling for the last 8 to 9 years. I could not believe how I met somebody who is not having a source of income and still surviving. She goes, brings the sticks, she heats the water. There is a nearby government office. She goes to clean the of the people in the government office, and they provide her food. The entire day goes on. I was so worried about what will happen to her in the COVID period. But it was all fine. She had a mask which was so loose that I could put my hand through it. But that mask was protecting her, and she was fearless. Because it is actually an attitude that we have to develop. We have to, at least this shloka, probably we should let us see. Because unless we get a direction, we cannot become fearless. Unless we get a protection. As a child, I think it would be very nice, isn't it, if somebody puts their hand on our back and says, well, that's called that is what the Abhaya Hasta they say, no? The Abhaya Hasta of an elder or a Abhaya Hasta of the divine. That can just, throw away any fear. If you see, Guru Gobind Singh had beautifully said, Chidiya nide naal baaj ladawa, sawa lakh de ek ladawa. Then only when my sparrow will go and challenge a great falcon also. Then you can say, when one person of mine will go to fight sawa lakh people, then you can say, I am the Guru of Guru Gobind Singh, because I have thought that. Youngsters, if you see in the army, how do they go running after the terrorists? It is fearlessness, isn't it? Ready to sacrifice their lives. Well, that fearlessness is an attitude which has to be developed. Krishna says that this is an attitude which comes very naturally to that person who has nothing to do, somebody who has reached state of samadhi. You will see who doesn't angry, who is not at all cranky, even in difficult moments. If that person is going through a very bad situation and is still calm, well, you can be Muni. So with this, let us continue. Krishna goes on further about who this. Okay, Dhananjay ji is saying 50% of my audio is lost. I'm very sorry about that. Let me just see if I can do something. Very sorry about the same.
I've put the
Turn off my video.
subtext on, and that makes
Yeah.
it a bit easier.
Yes, see. Just a moment. Hari Om. Yeah, I have turned off my video. If audio is now clear, hopefully.
Yes,
Yes.
now it
All
is
right,
clear.
let us. Okay,
Little
great.
better,
Lovely.
little better.
All right, thank you, sir. So let us continue. I'll try to see if I can solve this tomorrow. Yaha sarvatra. We go to the 57th shloka of the second Adhyay, where Krishna continues. He says, Yaha sarvatra nabhi snehas tata prapya shubhashubham nabhinandati nadveshti tasya prajna pratishtita. Such a person who is thus detached into neither virtue nor sin is he attached. When in all moments a poise is maintained, the awakened state he is said to have attained. At all moments, meaning the person who does not lose the balance in every moment. The real test of a person's character comes in the difficult moments only. So this person always passes that test. Insults, difficulties, most physical, mental, emotional, X, Y, Z, whatever may be the situation, this person is not losing balance. This person is remaining detached. This is also very important, because otherwise people utilize our emotions very well, isn't it? When we are attached, our emotions are used for what purpose? For a divine purpose? No, for absolutely undivine, nefarious reasons. When people find out this is your weak point, they will jump at it. So this person has no such weak point, because this, whether it is a dear friend or whether it is somebody who is always trying to plot a downfall, this person is going to greet with the same state of quietude, not getting carried away, whether it is Shakuni or whether it is Arjuna. If the person is able to look at with the same balance, we call that person Krishna, isn't it? And Krishna is saying such a person is an awakened person. Because in all moments, the person is keeping the poise. Those the, the- yes. Sada samharate chayam kurmonganiva sarvashah Indrayani Indriyarthebhyah Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. Krishna explains Kasya Prajna Pratishtita. This person is like a tortoise. How is he like a tortoise? Like a tortoise receding into a shell's safety over all six senses when he claims mastery. For everything, he can then withdraw himself and dwell in the awakened state of the self. So this is like a kurma or a tortoise. If you observe the shell of a tortoise, once the tortoise is entered into the shell, then nobody, no creature can harm the tortoise at all because that is impregnable. Just like that, just like that, this yogi,
Mind.
he is able to control all his indriyas. He is inside, withdrawing into a shell, and then he is able to dwell in that awakened self. Is able to dwell in that state of the awakened self by quietly withdrawing inside, like that of a tortoise. Krishna, but it's not easy. It is not easy. It's easy for a tortoise to do that, but for all of us, it is very difficult. We may take decisions. Now I am not going to speak to this person, or now I am not going to get emotionally disturbed. No matter what decision you take, when the situation comes again, the same thing happens, isn't it? A lot of people say, I'm going to get detached now. They keep saying that for 70 years also, but they don't practice detachment even once. Because what you practice, it is very, very difficult. Krishna goes on. Right now, Krishna is introducing how to do it. We will understand because it becomes very simple in the Gita. Krishna is just giving like what we call a brief introduction of the different things that a person must acquire in life. Whether Arjuna gets it or not, we have to see. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य param दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. From sensual temptations, one may strongly desist, and all attractions one may control and resist. But still the yearning may remain and persist. For the awakened one only, even desire's root does not exist. From sensual temptations, one may strongly desist. Means somebody may say, okay, I want to control myself. I am going to not yield to these temptations of my senses. So I may, by physical outer discipline, prevent myself from yielding to this sensual temptations. And all attractions one may control. He may do it. But still the yearning may remain and persist. Meaning in the heart, that still you have not overcome that feeling of desire is not, it is just from outside you have crushed it. But inside it is still there, meaning like in a garden, when you remove weeds, you should remove from the root, isn't it? What happens when you remove only from the surface without removing from the root? You just pluck the shoots. What happens then?
It will
Again,
regrow.
it will again grow
It
in
will
double.
It will
regrow.
again grow. And what happens to the root? It becomes deeper. It's more difficult to pull out afterwards. In the gardens, at least if you have experience in gardening, you'll see that. So something like that, Krishna says, still the yearning may remain and persist. But for the awakened one only, even the root, desire's root does not exist. Meaning that root itself is not there for that desire inside of the awakened one. Such an awakened state it is. I can remember when I just joined Damleji almost just 15 plus years ago. I had met Damleji and my Guruji, and at time after joining him, one day I felt like eating bhel puri. That was in my head. So I did not know what to do. I called him up on the phone and said, "What should I do? Last few days I'm continuously feeling I should eat." And I was feeling a little bit ashamed, guilty of having that thought also, and what to do. And so when I told that to him, he said, "Then you should eat." I was shocked. What do you mean you should eat? I thought we have to follow discipline. And then he said, eat. And I said, how much? He said, how much ever you want. Really? He said, yes. So then I ate 2 plates, 3 plates. So every day I went and ate, and then suddenly after a while I got bored of the third day, fourth day, the taste itself disappeared. I mean, I got bored of it. But I had eaten to my heart's content. So that was one way. But you can't use this analogy everywhere. But what when I asked later, I understood. He said, I do not want you to suppress and not overcome it. Because if you suppress without overcoming the desire, then that desire will go, and people go do brilliant sadhana in the caves for a long time. But that desire is not transcended. The person is still just suppressing by full bala. And when the person comes back, again that desire comes in. So our aim is to transcend that desire completely, not suppress it. That is what Krishna is talking about. One young student had once gone in search of a teacher, and he had heard that this teacher is so great. I somehow, if this teacher accepts me as a shishya, I will be very lucky. So the student goes to that teacher, and he is ready to he says, I have done so much, I am so and so well versed. I would like to learn from you. Can you take me? Give me, I have heard you are going to give me a test. I am ready for any test. So the teacher asks him. The guru says, any test? He says, yes. Okay, one test for you. Do not think of tomatoes and come tomorrow. That is all he said. I was shocked. The meaning of this, the guru said, don't think of tomatoes. As he went on the way, this is such an easy test. Everybody else, somebody else he knew had got a tough one. So for me, it is so easy, he thought. As he was going, but no, it could not be this easy. There must be something important. What is there behind the tomato? And by walking, that person sees a tomato somewhere in the shop outside. Immediately, he starts thinking, what could be the meaning behind this? What is the real meaning of this? And the entire day goes for him thinking about tomatoes only. And then he comes and confesses, I'm sorry. That was about a test of the mind only. Are you having the control over? He said, if you do not have this much control in the mind, how will you learn what is the paravidya, the higher knowledge, which is supposed to be beyond the mind? So this is the first test. You have not passed it. So then he had to wait for his turn, and then afterwards, when he did get the turn, then he went ahead. So this is important that Krishna says for a samadhi sthiti, for a person who has reached, this person is not just having desires, he has transcended his desires. There's no root also of the desire inside. Let us continue further. Yatato yapi kaunteya purushasya vipashchitaha indriyani pramadhini haranti prasabham manaha. O Arjuna, even amongst men who are wisest, even those who make the efforts hardest, the senses agitate them to go astray, and these defeated minds lose their way. Means even those who do great sadhana, great tapasya, many of them, sometimes we hear about really great exalted souls suddenly falling from grace, isn't it? People who have done so much, achieved so much, and suddenly one wrong action. We sometimes wonder what is right, what happened. We can't explain also why did this happen. Well, this shloka explains why this happens. This person's senses are not fully controlled, and the senses agitate the mind, and that person then goes astray. So that's a defeated mind, which is just going to wander away. That is what we see here. Now comes the interesting part, how? How do we control? Means when we talk about how do we become fearless or what do we focus on? How do we control our mind? This is where for the first time we see Krishna introducing this important aspect of focusing on the divinity. Let us see what Krishna says. Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha vashe hi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. Capable of controlling the senses is only he who focuses and meditates upon me. For when the sensual distractions one overcomes, his intelligence awakened and illumined becomes. Who is capable of controlling the senses? That person who is able to focus on the divine, on the divinity. Krishna says, now first time we see in the Gita, Krishna is talking about focusing on the divine. We also see a subtle hint to Arjuna that Krishna is telling, you can focus on me. By me, he is referring to the divinity in Krishna, which Arjuna is yet to fully realize or see. He says, focus on the divinity of the divine. Focus on it is what he's saying. If that you hold on to it, then you will be able to control your senses. How does one understand this? Anybody? Will you be able? How do you control your senses by focusing on the divine? Yes, anybody? Please feel free to unmute. Yes.
By meditating the divine.
Yeah. So if we meditate upon the divine, we will be able to control our senses.
No, you have to practice it.
We have to practice it. Okay.
Yes.
Fine. All right. Yes. Nandikeshwarji is adding something. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think basically when you are in sync with the divine, your focus is on the divine, and perhaps the divine gives you the thought process that no desires can, like, take control of you, and you follow the spiritual path.
Okay, means somehow you are reaffirming the presence of the divine and you are trying to focus on the divine in every action. Okay, Shashiji, yes, please.
I just wanted to say that, it is a bit hard just to focus on the divine while you're doing anything. If you start putting aside time and do chanting mala, jap mala, that helps because that is the focus time. And I think when it calms the mind, etc.,
Okay.
it pervades the mind better.
Yeah. But that is, Shashiji, you are saying that in the, yes, Saritaji, I'll come to you. One moment. And I'll come to Pankajji as well. One moment. Shashiji, you talked about Japamala and focusing on the divine at those moments, it's easier. But while in action, it is a little tough, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's starting off, like even taking the name. It doesn't have to be a big mantra, even just doing Om or taking Krishna's name, Sri Krishna's name, even that is helpful because it calms the mind down.
Okay. Okay. And you've heard of this something, Shri Aurobindo had talked about dynamic meditation.
No.
It's like consciously while you're doing your actions also, it is possible to at that same time, because it is something interesting. Krishna will tell us techniques, but not just in your quiet moments also, it's possible in every moment as well, in the middle of activities as well. That is something which we have to figure out, because Arjuna is going to enter into warfield. He will be firing deathly arrows, he will be dodging arrows. At that time also, he is not supposed to probably forget that connection with the divine. That is the highest, what we can say, ideal in front of us. Yes, Sunita ji, you were saying something?
Yes. It is like when I had just got married, I did not know how to cook. So, and there would be like 10 people coming home, and I would be so nervous and I wouldn't know what to do. So then, even though we knew how to cook, we've been cooking, but still that fear of so many people coming, and you have to see to it that they eat well and go, that kind of a thing. But I would always be very scared and all. Then one day I realized I have an Annapurni at home. So in my kitchen, which my mother had given it to me, saying that you're not doing anything. She's the one who's making you do. The day I left everything to her, I would say, Annapurni, I'm not doing anything. You are the one who's helping me out. And I just wouldn't know how I have finished cooking and how I have, people come, enjoy and go. And I only thank her because I'm not the one who did anything. So the fear just vanishes when you leave everything to the divine. So
It is here.
Okay. Wonderfully shared. Yes.
I'm here.
Mira, one
Ah,
second. Yeah, I'll just mute Miraji. Yes, Pankaj, you were adding something, and yes, please.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everybody. So I have I want to put a different perspective to this. Uh,
Hmm.
if you have to focus, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have to focus, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो आपके अंदर के जो विकार हैं, like
Hmm.
lobe, which is the
Hmm.
affection and growth, you know, उन पे थोड़ा नियंत्रण पाना जरूरी है. You have to control a little bit of that. Then only you can focus on further things. That's one small perspective I feel should be there.
Yes, yes, yes. That is also true. But now, focusing on this, on the divine, that
I,
is something which is good. Yeah, somebody wants to add something, is it? All right, please continue. Yeah,
I want to add something.
is it?
Um,
Yes, please.
I think if you want to concentrate, तो the first way you have to self realization, क्योंकि जब हम सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन करते हैं तो हम अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं कि जिस सुप्रीम पावर ने मुझे बनाया है तो मुझे कितना कुछ दे दिया है. तो जब हम अपने आप को रियलाइज करते हैं तो उस चीज को कंसंट्रेट करना मुझे लगता है कि ज्यादा आसान हो जाता है.
Namaste. Yes, Savitri ji. I think there was an error from me. So focusing on supreme power, that is something which we. There are so many such ways of focusing on the divine, but focusing on the divine is a very nice way, whichever way we choose, because each of us has a swabhava. Each of us has a approaching the divine, and a beautiful part of Sanatan Dharma is there are 100,000. You can actually choose your marga, you can choose your ishta, you can choose the sadhana, everything we have that choice according to our swabhava. But the central aspect is becoming conscious of the divinity. When you become conscious of that, then it is easier to control. A simple example I can think is in our village, in our factory where we manufacture. Mostly there are women who are working, and they work when you are when the supervisor is there. They work when the supervisor goes. Many times they used to have chit chats. Then interesting, we installed CCTV cameras. I added a little bit to the gossip that your audio is also getting recorded in the camera. Immediately, without any instruction, without any specific instruction that you need to work this way or that way, these all of them themselves worked in such a way that the production increased because they have now become conscious that they are being watched. It is as simple as that. If we recognize the divine is there with us, divine is watching us, we will be able to overcome. That is one important thing we can see. Let us continue. 62nd shloka. We go in. Dhyayate vishayan punsaha. Sangasteshu pajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Kamat krodho bhijayate. So I'll look at the next shloka also because 62 and 63 are in a conjunction. It will be better to read these shlokas together. So I read the Sanskrit shloka, then we look at its meaning. So it was dhyayate vishayan punsaha sangasteshopajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhrumshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. How does a person get destroyed? Somebody says, I don't like what Krishna says. I don't at all like this concept of controlling my desires. I have to follow my desires. Such a person decides what is going to happen. Well, Krishna is not saying that I'll curse you because you didn't listen to me. But there is a consequence. The consequence of wrong action is a wrong consequence only, isn't it? Something like that. Krishna talks about it. He says here, those intellectuals, whoever subjects contemplate, attached to those subjects, lost they become. And in their attachment, they are by desire overcome. And by desires within themselves, anger they generate. Just as Vijumaji shared, anger comes because of desires, where here in this shloka we see this. First, what happens? A subject comes in front, which is attractive to the mind. That subject is very attractive. Whatever this X, Y, Z that subject may be, the mind immediately grabs onto it, gets attached, and what happens then? Then these intellectuals, they get lost in that subject only. They become so lost because of their attachment to the subject. Many times we have seen with researchers fudging their data because they are so attached in their novel interventions or some therapy they have this. They want to prove somehow by hook or crook that this therapy that I have done is the best one. And then they try to manipulate data because they have got lost. They're forgetting the main aspect of the research. They lose all the ethics as well. So this aspect of attachment to subjects, they become lost in them. And in their attachment, they are by desire overcome. They start imagining, I am going to get such and such award, I am going to get this, I am going to get that. In the mind, in their attachment, they are just continuously running after, lusting for a particular outcome which is going to fulfill their desires. And then the problem of desires, we already know they don't get fulfilled. So because the desire is not fulfilled, the anger starts generating inside. And by desires within themselves, anger they generate. And what happens in anger? When we are angry, we talk a lot of things, isn't it?
Clouding the
Lose your
judgment.
senses.
Yeah.
It's cloud the
We lose
judgment.
control.
Yes. Do we remember what we speak in anger generally?
You lose
No.
your senses.
No.
Many
You
times
just
people
cloud your
shout. Yes, yes, absolutely.
clouding your
Many
judgment.
times, yeah, absolutely. Many times in anger, somebody shouts X, Y, Z, very horrible things. And when you go and ask the person next day, they say, Raat gayi, baat gayi. I don't know. Because
Don't know
memory
what
is
you are
clouded. Memory, I never remember what I say because in your anger, your memory is going to not function
lost.
because your memory is already lost. So what happens? In anger, they become hoodwinked. First, they get so lost that they get hoodwinked by delusion. They will not understand tarka, they will not understand nyaya. You explain something logical also, when they are angry, it will look illogical to them. The highest, even God will look like a demon to such a person. Because in the anger, nothing beyond that anger is visible. The person is lost in delusion. And in
Correct.
delusion, what happens? Their memory gets clouded. In this forgetfulness, their wisdom is destroyed because Smriti Bhranshat Buddhi Nasha. Because if you lose memory, what's going to happen? You will lose the Buddhi also. You will destroy your intelligence will go for, it's like, okay, great. Memory has already gone for vacation. Buddhi will say, why I should not take holiday. Buddhi also goes, leaves that person. That person starts doing very, very stupid things. And then what happens is, because of that Buddhi Nasha, that entire individual is completely destroyed.
Destroyed.
When I was young in school, there was one great athlete who was was an idol. I really admired him so much because that person was a double amputee. Both legs had been removed for him, and despite being a double amputee, he used prosthetics and tried to compete with able-bodied athletes. It was so inspiring for me. Ki, wow, this is the inspiration. This is the willpower. He even tried to compete in the regular Olympics as well. So his career was going in a particular direction. And then suddenly he came in the news. He had shot his girlfriend. And the end, he tried to show that there was a burglary happening and he has done something in defense. All those false cases where, because they were absolutely senseless without buddhi, that argument, it got completely thrown aside in the court. And such a great hero who was a hero and idol suddenly fell crashing down from the sky. For me, I can never even say his name today in the session because I'm not proud of him at all. What has he done? What has happened for him? Well, he was angry. In his frustration, he picked up the gun and shot. What has happened to his entire efforts, his aspirations, whatever they were, several years? We will not say it was nothing. He worked very hard. But look at what has happened in one moment where the buddhi is lost. So that is why human beings, all of us, must learn to control our emotions. We must learn to control our anger because
Anger.
ultimately it will
Yes.
destroy us. Look at Ravana. What happened to Ravana? What happened to his great samrajya? Fell, isn't it? He came crashing down because of what? One moment, desire, ahankar, all that combination, very horrible cocktail. In that, he lost everything. His judgment was gone. He lost memory also of what he should not have done, what he should know is not supposed to do. Shruti Branshat, Buddhi Nashat, and Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati, because that led to destruction. So this is what the ladder of the fall is. That is why Krishna is saying right in the start, remove that source of your own downfall. It is running after desires. As simple as that. Let us continue. Krishna goes on. Raga Dvesha Vimuktaistu Vishayan Indriyaishcharan Vyuktaistu Atmavashyir Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigachati. When one bereft of hatred and desire lives, and no authority, when one bereft of hatred and desires lives, and no authorities to the senses he gives, that champion who reigns in attraction is blessed with the awakened self's satisfaction. Means Krishna is calling such a person, this Jitendra, as a true champion. What happens to such a person who is free from hatred? Can we keep our heart free from hatred? Anybody? Is it possible?
No.
No.
Gayatri ji says no. Anybody says, is it possible to not hate anybody? Viju Maji
Again,
also says no.
we don't have
No.
control on our senses, na. So we hatred and love both we can't control at this time.
But love is something which will, yes, but hatred, because why should we not, why should we try to control hatred? Number one reason. If we say we cannot control, but what could be the reason why we want to control hatred?
Most the time, the person normally what happens when the person which is not fitting in our frame, so we try to hate, or sometimes
Okay.
it's jealousy also.
Ego.
Many factors can be there.
Yes. Anjali ji has written it will
It's,
destroy us.
if that person is competitor or something.
Yeah, that is true. This comes in. These are human emotions. They come in. But the question is, what happens when we give home to those emotions? Well, they will also destroy our personality only. The hatred is like a poison. Whoever, we are not Nilakantha, isn't it, to bear the poison in our throat without getting affected. But even Nilakantha had once assumed a Kala Bhairava roop, isn't it? So what are we going to do? The hatred we are going to keep inside of us, we are going to destroy ourselves. And again, what that Kala Bhairava Rupa was a different aspect. That was not hatred, which is human hatred. It was absolutely something, it was divine. We will see later in the, when we look at probably the chapter on the gunas. But inside of us, somebody who has plotted my downfall, assume this person has plotted my downfall. I know he has plotted my downfall. This person is not my well wisher. What will happen if I have hatred inside of my head? I will
It
start plotting
affects
his
us
downfall.
at all
It will.
levels, physical,
Yes.
mental, emotional. It
Perfectly.
ruins us totally.
Absolutely. I may try to start plotting that person's downfall. Then I may be successful or may not be successful. Or when I see that person, only my anger will come in. Oh, this person has come in front of me today.
Kabir has said
yes.
na, बुरा जो देखन मैं चला, बुरा न मिलिया
Ah,
कोई,
yeah.
जो दिल खोजा आपना, मुझसे बुरा ना कोई.
How brilliant it is. That is a very nice. Mujhse bura na koi. Why will I search for somebody else's faults? Forget it. I have so many faults inside of me. I will work on them. It's all right. Everybody has a freedom. It is a free world. It's a free country. People will behave absolutely nonsensical manners because they are either using or misusing their freedom. I am not their judge to sit and decide whether they are using or misusing. I know what I am free. I am free to not get angry also. As we look at in later on in the Gita, Krishna says in the Gita that we need to become nirvairaha without having any enmity. What we can say, Vishwamitra, isn't it? The Rishi Vishwamitra will have to become the Mitra of the Vishwa. Let us have Maitri, not any kind of hatred inside, because a simple reason, the heart that houses hatred cannot house the divine. Krishna is very good at running away. He is very fast in escaping. We have to ensure he stays in the heart. For that, we have to keep the heart clean and free from hatred. That is one important thing we have to see. And when that person is free from hatred, free from desires, and is not giving any authority to the senses, that champion is going to get what is the prasada. What is that prasada? That prasada is the satisfaction of the supreme self, what we call sakshatkar. From ahankar to getting a sakshatkar, what a big transformation is possible when we do these little things in our life. Stuff, but it must be attempted. When we were very small, my grandfather had this habit of chanting Ram Raksha, and we would go and sit, and it would be little long. So we had to somehow control ourselves. But one of the motivational factors for us was the prasada that we would get in the end.
Yes.
He would give what we call khadi sakhar, or these sugar, big, like small, like cubes of sugars. Those he would give. So for that reason, we would keep. Many children go to temples because today Janmashtami I will get very nice prasad. Whether or they do namaskar or not is a secondary thing. But at least for that, well, let us look at this prasada. What prasada is going to come into our life by living this? It is going to be a consequence. We're not going to lust for that prasad, but by doing this, what is that prasada? Krishna says, prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasyopajayate prasanna chetaso yashu buddhi paryavatishthate. Unhappiness in all its forms ends, and all sorrows away this blessings ends. This all again, and all sorrows away this blessing sends, filling the seeker's mind with ethereal joys. He attains the perfect wisdom, poise. He attains the perfect wisdom and poise. Means unhappiness will slowly disappear from that person's life as this person becomes more and more purified. Can a person who does not get angry be unhappy? Mostly such a person is never going to be unhappy. He's always going to be smiling more, isn't it? Among our friends and families, the one who is angry is unhappy, or the one who is not angry is unhappy most of the time.
When one is angry, is unhappy.
Yeah, isn't it? It is so simple as that. So this person
Yes.
will get a prasada, a realization, and a realization, that realization is going to send all sorrows away. Well, Sri Aurobindo got a sakshatkar inside of a prison, a small jail in Alipur, where he was going to be wrongly tried to be hanged. There he got the experience of Sri Aurobindo, and Sri Aurobindo got the experience of Sri Krishna. And suddenly the entire, that 6 by 9 feet prison, which was so dark and there was nothing there, and he was such a great personality, was housed with petty criminals and burglars. There he suddenly saw Vasudeva and all his worries, because he wanted to contribute for the freedom of India, and he was like, what is this? Is this going to be the end? Am I going to be locked and hanged? I will not be able to do anything for Ma Bharati. His intense aspiration for the divine, he was not able to find an answer. But there he got that realization inside of that prison, which suddenly sent away all his worries. That experience we may cover later when we see some other relevant shloka of the Gita. But this aspect of this ability of sending away all sorrows, this can happen naturally when we get that realization. And what does it do? Filling the seeker's mind with ethereal joys. He attains the perfect wisdom spoils. The perfect wisdom would come. And then after that, he went on. For example, Sri Aurobindo's story only is Alipur Jain was just a turning point. Revolutionary after that jail withdrew and then began writing what works which even another 200 years later, India would still try to fully understand the depth of what was written. This is how, like, it was the hour before the gods awake. I mean, how can a mind go to the point where gods are also not born? That is where how Savitri begins. So this realization can throw away all the sorrows. And who is capable of attaining this realization? Has Krishna given us that only such and such person belonging to such and such family, belonging to such and such financial background, or belonging to such and such ethnicity they can get, or is it everybody?
One and all.
Very.
No, who
One and
removes
all.
all your
One
hatred
and
and
all.
repress.
Yes, yes. So it's only
Irrespective
who
all.
seeks
No,
can
you should
receive.
be able to
Yes,
control your hatred and distress. Those persons only
yes,
can
yes. That
attain
is
the wisdom.
important.
Person
Yes.
with a
Even
tranquil
a
mind.
wrongdoer. Yes, yes. Even a wrongdoer. We must not have hatred. That does not mean in the border soldiers should now start throwing roses instead of bullets to terrorists. But if the soldier gets hatred in the heart, the hand will become trigger friendly. It might even injure civilians, it might go elsewhere. Without hatred as a duty, if the soldier functions, he can still become the ideal and perfect soldier,
Yes.
perfectly executing the order given by the command. Whatever his mother unit wants, he can function perfectly when there is no hatred. So this aspect, we can do our duties, whatever it is, but let's never have hatred for anybody, not for the sake of out of compassion for the wrongdoer, but I think it is at least for our swadharma, for protection of the self. We don't want to destroy ourselves. That is what we must remind. And when we do that, we can experience the highest bliss. Krishna goes on further. Yes, Gayatri ji wants to add something?
No, just for wrongdoers, Kabir has one doha like जैसी जाकी बुद्धि है तैसी कही सुनाए ताको
Hmm.
बुरो न मानिए लेन कहाँ सुजाए.
Ah.
Means the wrongdoers, they have that limited knowledge, and
Hmm.
if they don't have, why do we feel bad about them?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And the part about Guru, what was that? In that?
Huh?
The line mentioned about Guru, no? What was that?
तो जैसी जाकी बुद्धि है
हाँ,
तैसी कही सुनाए. मीन्स
तैसी तैसी
जितना बुद्धि
या
है
या
उतना बात करेगा. तो जैसी जाकी बुद्धि है तैसी कहीं सुनाए ताको बुरो न मानिए.
हाँ,
डोंट फील
बुरो
बैड
ना
अबाउट
मानिए,
देम. बुरो
बुरो
न
ना मानिए.
मानिए
हाँ,
लेन
या
कहाँ
या
सो जाए.
yes, yes.
So this is also
And
a way
sometimes it is
to
better.
do not feel hatred about them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And at times, critics, it is good to have critics around us who are, give free criticism without any
हाँ,
subscription.
निंदक नियरे
They will
राखिए
allow us
आंगन
to.
कुटी छवाए
आंगन कुटी बिन पानी साबुन बिना निर्मल करे सुहाए.
निर्मल होए
Or in,
सुहाए.
हाँ, yes, yes. And how they say, no, is it Durjanam Prathamam Vande, Sajjanam Tadanantaram. They will tell you what not to do, isn't it? The wrongdoers. So, yes, that is important. It is an important point because if we understand this now, it will be very useful when we look at the chapter on Vishwarupa Darshana. There also, Krishna will again talk about it. This is one principle, if we just practice in our life, we might actually open newer horizons of understanding, not having hatred inside of the heart. We will look at the 66th shloka and we will call it a day, 66th shloka. नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न च भावयतः शांतिर अशांतस्य कुतः सुखम. Oh, it's so beautiful. Krishna has asked one simple question. Ashantasya kutah sukham. How can a person who is ashant, who is not having shanti, how will he experience sukha? How will he become peaceful? How will he experience bliss? Somebody who is all the time cranky, where is the bliss going to come if this person doesn't learn to stop being cranky? Sometimes people have everything in their lives, and yet by their attitudes, means
Satisfied.
they destroy all. Means they might be living in a palace, they might have everything, and yet the king, instead of living like a king, starts living like a beggar. What is the use? Because of the entire attitude. So here Krishna says that is why it is important to have a good direction. Our surrender has to be to the divine only. We have to focus on the divine and learn to control all the other. Instead of finding faults, this person did wrong, that person did wrong, it's better to look into ourselves. See what else is wrong inside of me. I'm going to keep this lifelong is not enough for me to correct all the wrong inside of me. If we have this attitude, we are very free. We will stop becoming gurus of other people who have not even asked us. I mean, Arjuna told no, to Krishna, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. So Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita, pravachan to him. Problem many times with us is people don't say Shishyasteham, still we start giving pravachans to everybody who comes to us. We have to realize from Krishna.
Voice is muted, I guess.
Hello, so you're muted.
So you're muted.
Yeah, any change?
Oh, you're
Yes,
back.
yes, yes, yes. We can hear you
Okay,
now.
great.
We can
Fine,
hear you.
fine. Yes, yes. All right. Thank you. Today there is a lot of disturbances, unfortunately. So we are talking about not getting disturbed, but Niyati is
No, we
showing
are
different situations.
practicing becoming sthit pragna.
Okay. Oh, great to hear that. Yes, see. So this aspect of what Krishna is telling here is that if we ashantasya kuta sukham, where is the sukha going to come to a person who is not having the peace of mind on the inside? Means he whose wisdom is not focused, his emotions are also uncontrolled. Uncontrolled emotion only set disquiet around. Not can happiness ever found? A simple question for us Krishna has given for if we become happy, it is our decision. We have to first become peaceful. We have to become peaceful. As long as wisdom is person's buddhi is not sthira, emotions are also not going to be sthira. And when emotions are not sthira, there's nothing. There's only going to be chaos. There's only going to be chaos everywhere. So with this, we can today's session we are stopping at what is the 66th shloka of the second adhyay. We have covered up to shloka number 66. So if you see, Krishna is again and again trying to tell Arjuna something. But my question is Arjuna in a state of sthira buddhi right now? No,
Not yet.
not yet. So how much do you think Arjuna is going to understand from what Krishna has told? 'Cause, 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 'cause,
Very
Not
little,
a
I
lot.
guess.
Very little is okay. If we say on a scale of 10, if we were to rate Arjuna's understanding.
Less than 5, I guess.
Okay, Gayatri ji says less than 5. Anybody else wants to defer
At
their
this
rating?
particular
Mine is
moment.
about 1 or 2.
Okay, Shashi ji has gone to 1 or 2. So anyway, Arjuna is very sincere. He will show us his report card himself, what he has understood. As we go ahead into the Gita, we will exactly see what of all that Krishna has told, what has he understood. But again, it is one thing to be understood. Arjuna is not around, so I am taking full advantage of him not being around that I can joke. If he was around, his arrow is very powerful. His buddhi is also 100 times sharper than mine. But let us call it a day. So we see this that ashantasya kuta sukham, and if anybody can summarize some of the points that we saw today, we could look at that and then conclude. Also, if there is any query, anything you wish to look at, you are welcome.
Can I try?
Yes, please, sir. Yes, please, sir.
Okay, so what we have, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what we have seen from the shloka 57 is the person who is not attached to good or bad, neither praising it or cursing it, can obtain perfect knowledge. And the next shloka, the example of tortoise was given, like tortoise, the person who is able to withdraw or detach if, from all his desires or senses, is in perfect consciousness. Next, the awakened person may be restricted from senses enjoyment, but the test of the
Hmm.
senses remains. So he has to
Yeah.
seize such engagements by experiencing higher test of consciousness.
Yes. Yes.
And
He has to
and
remove the seed. The seed of desire has to be removed from the
correct.
root.
And the next sloka, what was mentioned, I just remember since you mentioned about the Vainabai Chaudhary yesterday. She had said, "Mana vadaya vadaya ubya pikatala dora, kiti hakala hakala फिरविन येई पिकावर." So,
Ha, ha.
so much, even by so much efforts of the
Ha.
detaching oneself from the lot of desires, it comes back
Ha, ha.
again on the same thing. So since
Yes,
I
sir.
remember that, the next
Yes,
slogan
sir.
says
Thank
the
you, sir,
person.
for sharing that.
Yeah,
If you can
the
share
next,
in the group, it would be very nice for everybody. Those who don't know Marathi, you can just give in your own words the translation. And let us
yes,
Yes.
yes.
use the group for our, since we have so many different perspectives, it will be useful if we can chat with each other and share insights.
No,
Everybody
no.
is
As
welcome.
I said,
Yes, sir.
Sure.
as I said in Bainabai's language or Marathi language, it translates like it's like a cattle who comes to the field
Mm-hmm.
to graze,
Mm-hmm.
to eat the good crops, and how
Ha.
much he is driven away. That cattle is driven away. It comes back again and again. Likewise,
Okay, okay.
the desires of mind or the
Uh,
attachments, even if whatever efforts
they
you
come
take
to
to
eat us.
detach them, yeah, they come back
Yeah.
to you. So the
Yes,
next is
sir.
the person
Yes,
who
sir.
keeps his senses in full control and fixes his consciousness from me, means Krishna is saying me, that
Divine.
God,
Yeah.
divine, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Next point is the anger. Anger is generated out of desires, attachments, and attachments are generated by lust. So, see, generation of desires, attachment, lust, and finally to anger. So, and from anger, it's a complete delusion. Memory is lost or clouded. Then intelligence is lost, and loss
Yeah.
of one is called Viveka Buddhi.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
The
Buddhi
next point,
Bhrashta. Hmm.
Buddhi Bhrashta. Next point says the person is free from attachments. He is able to control his senses. Then he is free from hatred, free from desires, and can attain divine consciousness. Such person will
Yes.
get a prasad of consciousness, It is mentioned as a prasad of consciousness, and once intelligence is well established, you use the word perfect wisdom. And in
Yes.
the last sloka, it is mentioned that if there is no peace, there is no happiness or bliss. And the happiness or
Yes.
bliss is not there because you don't have a steady mind. And then
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you're not connected with the supreme divine or divine. That's all.
Yes, sir. Ji, ji. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful summaries. Yes, please.
Thank you.
So I request you in the group, sir, please do share that Baina Bhai's words. So it will be very nice for all of us.
Yeah, I
Yes.
will.
All right, sir.
I'll put it in the
What is
group
the
in a
name of that
Marathi.
Yes.
collection? Book or something is there?
No, it is not a
Bahina
book.
Bhainche Gaane. I don't.
Is it
Yes.
available online somewhere?
I
In
need to
Marathi,
check.
it might,
It
with
must be
Marathi, it might
available
be
now.
there. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
We'll translate it.
I I'll try
Yeah,
to
yes.
share something I have about one or two verses of us I know, but I do not know. Maybe there might be available online. We can do a search and find out. Yes, please.
Yeah, I will do the search and share with the group that where it is
Absolutely.
available.
It will be great.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Sir,
Yes,
I
yes.
have
All right.
something to say.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you asked how much has Arjuna understood,
Hmm.
I understood it as I am Arjuna and I am at two.
So that is actually
Or no?
wonderful to relate to Arjuna because if we have to attain Krishna's consciousness, we have to forget Arjuna's consciousness only. Then Krishna
Yes.
will come running, he'll become our Sarathi. So that is a
Yeah.
very nice thing. We should all probably aspire to be there only. Yes, ji. And then let Krishna take us ahead.
Yeah. So
Yes,
I
please.
had
Ji.
another
Thank you.
question.
Thank
I
you.
have a question. All these
Yes,
days
ji.
we were thinking, means discussing about duty, that we have to perform our duty.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we are talking about detachment.
Yeah.
So is it possible to do your duty with detachment?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like your
If
duty
we
as
do
a
our
mother.
duty only if you have detachment. Yes,
No,
yes,
no.
yes. Because
Now your duty
as
as a
a
mother, your duty as a
yeah,
wife, your duty as a
yes,
housewife.
ha ha. Yes, yes, Pravinaji, because in the English, no, the word detachment is a very harsh word in because it means separation. But in Sanskrit, there is a beautiful, this called asakta,
Okay.
or one more word is there called mukta sakta, mukta sanga.
Uh-huh.
Means a mother should not lose her mamata. Her mamata can never be lost, isn't it? Which
Yes.
force in the world can take away the mamata of a mother? But in that, the mother should not become partial towards the child or feel I cannot scold. One mother was so, she shared her experience. As we go into the Gita, we will have more. Krishna goes deeper and gives more practical experience. She
Yeah.
said a very her own, she saw her own attachment as a problem in raising her small daughter. Because what happened was, this daughter was on a cycle and she's small young child, no? So she fell from the cycle and she was
Yes.
nearby only. So she immediately shouted. She said that the daughter was more scared of her than falling from the cycle and she felt so shocked by that. She said, "My God, what is this? My daughter is having fear for me." And she said, that time I decided I am having too much of attachment, which has become almost like possession and it is troubling her. I need to
Mhm.
keep myself little bit away so that let the child have an experience. So if you want to become actually a best mother would be somebody who is able to have that love and yet detachment also. A best doctor
Okay.
is going to be a doctor who is going to work for the treatment of patient without worrying about what money is going to come or what name is going to come or anything else. Same way with a teacher, same way with any rook, and even in love, no, how can we get better when we have no expectations? It is best to have one directional love only. Maybe the other partner may also practice one direction. That is a blessing, but it is
Yeah.
not always. I gave this much, so it gets something in return. That is not a deal, isn't it? So
Yes.
That is a thing which Krishna has introduced, but in the Gita, he will talk about different aspects. He will talk about family relationships also, because Arjuna is family, isn't it? He has children, he has wife, he has different duties, so many things. He is not somebody, and so beautiful it is that Krishna has chosen somebody like Arjuna, because it will be a best example for all of us.
Actually,
If
Arjuna
Krishna had
is
sat
a
down
very
with,
good prompt writer.
yeah, he's a good prompt writer.
And the chat GPT is Krishna.
Okay. Okay, well, I think we are seeing limitations of ChatGPT, but after 5,000 years, we'll not see any limitations of Krishna. But yeah, I understood the analogy. Yes, thank you. So let us conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Let us hope Arjuna asks more such questions which are going to be more relevant for everybody in our life and all in our sadhana. Whatever that sadhana is, Krishna is yet to explain to us. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण पुनर्मिलामः
Hari Om. Jai
नमस्कार
Shri Krishna.
हरि ओम
Hari Om.
Hare
Yes.
Om.
Thank you so much.
हरि ओम थैंक यू जी
Hare
थैंक
Om.
यू